Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the temporary Commander's Quarters studio. Welcome to the show. Okay, things are getting a bit ridiculous. Wizards, what in the world is happening with this this spoiler season? I mean, first up, you kind of started things a bit early, and then you kind of made, miscellaneous things in between just happen, like, oh yeah, by the way, no, this time we're doing this. And then also there's just a ton of leaks, and then also a lot of just blurry cards that you're putting out. What is going on? Okay, that aside, Ivor Bane of Bladehold is very exciting. Let's go on to the MTG.design version of this. Again, I should say, apparently this looks like it's going to be a leak, so we don't know if this is actually a legitimate card or not. I believe this one's actually up on Scryfall right now, though, and they're usually pretty right when it comes to cards being correct or not. So I will mention there are cards in the description below, a card list link. If you are interested in this commander, make sure you check out that link, but also maybe don't pick up any cards until this one's confirmed. Regardless, what does this one do? I should probably get to the point. Ivor Bane of Bladehold, a 3/4 Phyrexia Knight with Battle Cry, which of course means that when it attacks each other attacking creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It also costs 2 white and a black, and it says, at the beginning of combat of your turn, the next time target creature would deal combat damage to one or more players this turn, this combat, prevent that damage. If damage is printed this way, create that many 1/1 colors Phyrexia Might artifact creature tokens with Toxic 1, and this creature can't block. And again, as a reminder, that Toxic 1 basically is like a way to give poison in a somewhat more nice way than Infect. Infect is based on the amount of damage. Toxic is based on the number after Toxic. So again, Toxic 1 is, hey, even if your creature is a 10/10 and hits the opponent, it's only giving 1 poison counter, even if it's 10 combat damage. Now, those Phyrexia Mites are 1/1s, giving 1 poison, but still. Obviously, there are ways to pump them, and we'll talk about those here in a bit. But yeah, this commander is really interesting because you're like, okay, I am trading in a good amount of combat damage, potentially, from one of my creatures to actually just make a bunch of creature tokens that can be deadly in another way. Again, poison counters in Commander, right? I mean, you have, 40 life, right? But it only takes 10 poison counters to take you out. So actually, it's basically kind of like, 4 times as effective. So yeah, your little Phyrexian Mites might only be 1/1s, but because they have that Toxic 1, they can do a lot of work for you. And yeah, there's a lot of exciting things you do in this commander. There's a lot of potential for it. Again, when I'm going through cards on this episode, I'm going to go through budget buys, which are cards that are within my budget, so less than $1. Pricier picks, cards that are above $1, I'll go through as well. And again, the entire card list link is in the description below. Check it out, but also, maybe don't pick anything up until you make sure that this is an actually confirmed spoiler at some point during the spoiler season. We'll see! Regardless, Black Blade Reforged is a card that is definitely within my budget buys, one that you definitely can consider, and one that really can help you out in a lot of scenarios, and especially with this commander, because, hey, damage really matters, and being able to hit an opponent for a ton of damage really matters. So, yeah, let's say that you've got some ways maybe to potentially get your commander through, because, again, this is a lot easier to attach to a legendary creature, or another legendary creature, I should say, but yeah. +1/+1 for each land you control. That can be a lot. So again, basically, hey, whatever your creature's power is, plus the number of lands you control, you hit someone and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to have a bunch of little Phyrexian Mites that are toxic. So, yeah, maybe at a certain point, you can obviously get even up to upwards of like 10 of them essentially in play. And then, you know what? Just take your opponents out with a lot of poison damage. Speaking of damage, yeah, you can also help yourself out with cards like Glorious Anthem and Dictative Heliod. Some great Anthem effects that can really help you out. It can help make your army hit even harder, can make, that creature that you choose hit even harder. Glorious Anthem, creature you control get +1/+1. Dictative Heliod, creatures you control get +2/+2. Adding these on top of your Battle Cry with your commander can make your creatures hit even harder. Again, you're able to make a lot of tokens with this commander, and you can do a lot more damage with more Anthems in play. Now, when it comes to getting creatures through, though, yeah, maybe you want some more consistency in being able to get through. Your commander, again, doesn't have any evasion. Of course, there are plenty of ways to give evasion, but maybe you want some other creatures to do the dirty work for you. So yeah, Changeling Outcast. It's a Changeling. Cool. That might not apply to anything, really, but what does apply is it's a 1/1 for 1 mana, very low to the ground. It can't block and can't be blocked. So you're not going to be blocking with it anyway. That's fine, but it is unblockable. So your opponents literally cannot stop you from having it come through. So yeah, choosing this, maybe again, having some Anthems in play, having some ways to pump this, making it hit for a ton can be a great way to make a ton of tokens in absolutely no time. And yeah, make sure you're considering other forms of evasion, like maybe Shadow. Shadow, if you don't know what that is, it's a very old mechanic, but yeah, basically, hey, this creature can't be blocked or be blocked by only creatures with Shadow, essentially. So only Shadow creatures can block Shadow creatures, and it's kind of like flying in that way. But here's the thing. Basically, no one is playing creatures with shadow. I mean, like, Dothy Voidwalker is the only one. But, like, yeah, it's very rare that this would really be able to be blocked. It's a 1/1 that is basically unblockable for 1 mana. So, again, make sure it's considering different ways your creatures can get through. Drawn to Liberated Malik here. It has flying and first strike. Flying, obviously, can get through on a lot of players a lot of the time. And, yeah, usually you can count on that. Also, you know, Black-Bladed Forge can be attached to this pretty easily. Again, legendary creature. On top of that, whenever Drana deals counter to a player, you get a counter on each attacking creature you control. So yeah, if you're being aggressive with this commander deck, which you probably will be, and you're getting a lot of tokens into play, you can grow them even faster with something like this as well. And speaking of faster, yeah, hey, you know those poison counters that you're getting on your opponents? Let's proliferate them. Let's get those counters going even quicker. So yeah, it just takes 1 poison counter on an opponent to start to build on top of that with proliferate effects. Great Flappration. This one is a low to the ground evasive creature, so one that you can, you know, even utilize for your plan to, you know, pump it and actually have it hit, make some tokens. And of course, when it deals counters to a player or planeswalker, you proliferate. So you're saying, all right, yeah, if I got counters on my creatures, like, you know, with my Drana, you know, I can get more counters on my creatures. Great, they can hit even harder. And of course, on top of that, yeah, you opponents out there that have poison counters on you, you're each getting an extra 1. Thank you. Speaking of counters and proliferating, Unbounded Potential. Hey, you get a counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, so you can make creatures hit even harder, which again can help you make more tokens. And also, proliferate. Actually, it does say choose one, but you can entwine to do both, regardless. Anyways, yeah, again, getting more counters on your creatures, getting more poison counters on your opponents, what's not to love? Throne of Geth, tap, sacrifice an artifact, proliferate. This can be a great way to, especially, you know, end game, make use out of your artifacts, make use out of those mana rocks to proliferate, to get to that point where your opponents, oh no, you're at 9 poison counters, tap, sacrifice, proliferate, you're done. Now, when it comes to pricier picks, again, cards that are outside of my budget, cards that are more than $1, yeah, there's a lot of great ones for a commander like this. I mean, yeah, if I don't mention Annoying Procession, which is a token doubler in a commander deck that likes making tokens, yeah, I'm going to get yelled at in the comments below. So there you go, Annoying Procession. Hey, if an effect would create 1 of our tokens under your control, creates twice the amount of tokens instead. And yes, I mean, getting more and more Phyrexia mites in play, getting more and more toxic creatures in play, is definitely a very powerful thing, and something that's going to make your opponents very nervous. What also is going to make them nervous is True Conviction. Creatures you control have double strike and lifelink. Now your army, which is massive, can hit twice as hard and take twice as much, you know, advantage of those anthems, including Battle Cry with your commander. Lifelink gain you a ton of life, pad your life total, which can be nice with Bitter Blossom, because Bitter Blossom says at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and you get a 1/1 Black Fairy rogue with creature token with flying. Great way to fill the board over time with a lot of evasive flyers. Again, can take advantage of all those anthems that you have, including True Conviction, including your Battlecry from your commander. And yeah, if you need to utilize one of them, again, which is an evasive creature, to, you know, be that creature that you choose, you know, pump it, you know, get some extra damage in, and then actually, you know, make a lot of tokens with that. So your, you know, your creature tokens can make you even more creature tokens. And our Procession's going to be very happy about this. And speaking of being happy about making creature tokens, Cathar's Crusade. Yeah, this can get just absolutely crazy with a commander like this, with a deck like this. Creature is battlefield under control. You get a counter on each creature you control. Obviously spreading those counters out, making more and more tokens, makes all your creatures even deadlier, and of course proliferating helps with that as well. Yeah, I mean, you definitely have a couple different avenues to victory with this deck. You can definitely take your opponents out, you know, with just straight up combat damage. You can take them out with, you know, I was going to say infect, it's just a habit. With poison counters, there we go. There's a lot of ways you can take your opponents out. Sublime Archangel, another way you can help take your opponents out and actually really help get things going. 4/3, Flying, Exalted. Other creature you control have Exalted. And again, Exalted means whenever a creature you control attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So basically, the more creatures you have in play, the more 1 can hit, especially hard when you just swing with 1, which you definitely can do. You know, you're like, hey, you know what? I just really want to build up my army this turn. I've got a ton of creatures in play anyways. Let's just swing with this 1 evasive creature that comes through. It's going to hit you for like 15. Okay, cool. I'll make 15 tokens. Great. Awesome. Sword, Truth, and Justice. Another great way to get a creature through to help it hit even harder. +2/+2. Pro white, pro blue. Whenever a creature is combination with a player, you get a counter on a creature you control. Again, which is very nice. Then you proliferate. So again, hit even harder, help it get through, get more counters, get more power, and proliferate to get more counters on your creatures, as well as more poison counters on your opponents. And with that, of course, there are other great proliferate effects as well in the pricier picks. I mean, Yawgmoth, gross! Pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, get a -1/-, count up to 1 target creature, and draw a card. You can also pay black, discard a card to proliferate. So, yeah, you can utilize the creature tokens you're going to be making to sacrifice them to, take out your opponent's creatures, or at least start, shrinking them essentially, with the potential to take them out with more and more proliferating, draw cards, obviously proliferate to your heart's content essentially. You can take your opponents out very easily once this commander gets going in combination with something like Yawgmoth. Speaking of which, Contagion Engine. Yeah, this is a great card for a deck like this as well. Enters the battlefield. -1 counter each creature target player controls. So again, start that, just detriment to your opponent's creatures. Start taking out the small ones. Proliferate to take out the bigger ones. And yeah, pay 4, tap, proliferate, then proliferate again. Basically, hey, do your creatures want to shrink a ton? Great, let's take them out. Let's get my creatures to become even larger with their counters on them. And yeah, everyone gets 2 extra poison counters. Have fun with that. Even a land can help out with Karn's Bastion. Tap for colors, pay 4, tap, proliferate. Yeah, not really taking up a spot in the deck at all, but something that can be a great finisher for you, a great thing to just throw some extra mana into when you need to. Overall, a very interesting commander, one that I think a lot of players are going to be really excited about. Again, there's kind of that nice push and pull with this commander where it's like, okay, I really want to commit to hitting a player very hard with a creature, and you know what? I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be benevolent. I'm going to let you just not have that damage, right? Because I said, you know what? This creature, if it hits you, it's not going to count. Except it does count in making me a giant army of really scary Phyrexian Mites with Toxic 1. So yeah, there's a lot of potential for this. I think, again, you can take this commander in a good amount of different ways. And yeah, if you are interested in this commander, make sure you check out my card list link in the description below. But maybe don't pick anything up again until it is officially confirmed to be an actual spoiler. So yeah, make sure you're waiting for that. So yeah, that's today's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.